You know that feeling, right? When
Yeah.
you're trying to build something amazing with your small business, but you just keep getting dragged back into the weeds.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
The emails just pile up, the phone keeps ringing, and somehow you're also meant to be head of marketing, sales, customer service,
Hmm.
while actually trying to grow.
It feels less like being a CEO and more like just keeping plates spinning. All.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Constantly juggling. And that's actually why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We're looking at something that could be a real game changer. AI assistance for business.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine like having a way to hand off a load of that daily grind stuff so you can finally step back a bit, operate more like the leader you wanted to be.
Right. Focus on the big picture, not just the inbox. So yeah, over the next few minutes, we want to really dig into what these AI assistants actually are, why entrepreneurs are grabbing onto them, what kind of tasks they can realistically take on, and maybe some key things to think about if you're considering one.
And we're basing this on a really insightful guide we've both been looking through. Exactly.
Okay, so let's get specific. When we say AI assistant for business, what are we actually talking about in like practical terms?
Think of it as an intelligent automated system.
Yeah.
It's designed specifically to handle those repetitive, time-sucking tasks that just bog you down.
Okay.
The guide gives some great examples, like automatically answering common emails, the same questions over and over, or scheduling appointments without you doing the back and forth.
Ah, that scheduling piece alone sounds huge.
It is. And handling basic customer support queries, even qualifying new leads before they even get to you.
So it's not just like a simple autoresponder. It sounds much more involved. It could genuinely free up a big slice of your day.
Absolutely. And the guide points out some big pluses. These things are on call 24/7. They don't need coffee breaks or holidays.
Right.
And they can scale up if you get busier without all the headaches of hiring more people immediately. The guide actually calls it a digital team member. A digital team member.
Huh. I like that framing.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Okay, so why now? Why are so many business owners suddenly looking at this tech? What's the big draw?
Well, the guide really nails it, I think. It comes down to time. That's the one thing you just can't make more of as a business owner, right?
Definitely not.
And the reality, which the guide highlights, is that loads of small business owners are spending, well, sometimes 60, even 80% of their day on these lower value repetitive tasks, stuff that could be automated.
Wow, 60 to 80%. That's staggering. That's most of your week spent not growing the business.
Precisely. And that's where AI automation steps in. The guide breaks down the functions pretty clearly. Things like handling incoming calls or messages, managing your calendar automatically, sending out follow-up emails and reminders. You know how crucial those are.
Yeah, the follow-up black hole.
Exactly. Answering common customer questions, routing new leads to the right person, and this is key logging all of that interaction in your CRM. Okay, let's pause there. For anyone listening who maybe isn't super familiar, what's a CRM and why is it important that the AI talks to it?
Good question. So a CRM, customer relationship management system, it's basically your central hub for everything customer related. All interactions, contact details, history, it all lives there.
Got it. Like a digital Rolodex on steroids.
Kind of, yeah. And when the AI logs everything there automatically, it means you have a complete picture.
Yeah.
Nothing gets lost. You see the whole customer journey and you avoid like asking the same question twice.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just about calling back time. It's also about making sure balls aren't getting dropped, maintaining that consistent service level even when you're completely swamped.
Exactly. The guide really stresses that. It leads to more efficiency, better consistency, and frankly, a business that runs smoother even if you, the owner, aren't personally touching every single thing.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. Let's get into the what. What specific kinds of tasks are we realistically talking about handing over? The guide broke this down into categories, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Made it really clear. So, like for customer service, think FAQs, right?
Yeah.
Handling those constantly asked questions. It could even process simple refund requests if it can access order info and knows your policy.
Right.
And maybe managing those initial support tickets, just gathering the basic info so your human team can jump into the complex stuff faster.
Right, freeing human agents for human problems.
Exactly. Then in sales and lead gen, AI can chat with potential customers, maybe through a website, chatbot, or even voice, to figure out what they need. That's lead qualification. It could send out initial proposals based on templates, automate follow-up sequences, keeping those leads warm.
That follow-up again, so critical.
Oh.
And scheduling.
Yeah, we touched on it, but managing bookings, handling rescheduling, sending reminders, and crucially, integrating directly with your calendar, Google Calendar, Outlook, whatever.
No more double bookings.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lifesaver for anyone who's ever messed that up. I know I have.
Haven't we all? Then there's inbox management. AI can filter emails, prioritize them, send automated replies for common stuff, flag the really urgent messages.
Taming the inbox beast. Nice.
A little bit, yeah. Social media, too, it can help schedule posts, maybe handle basic DMs, give you some simple analytics on engagement.
Okay.
And finally, admin stuff. Automatically loading data into that CRM we talked about, generating basic reports, maybe helping track simple tasks. It's actually quite a wide range.
It really does sound like it could lift a significant weight, not just time, but like the mental load, just knowing that stuff is being handled.
That's a huge part of it, the peace of mind. Now, obviously, not all AI assistants are created equal. The guide gives some really good pointers on how to choose the right one for your business. It's not one size fits all.
Right, I can imagine there must be tons of options out there. So what should a business owner be looking for? What are the key criteria?
The guide boils it down to 5 main things. First, multi-channel support. Where do your customers actually talk to you? Phone, email, website chat, social media. Your AI needs to work where your customers are.
Makes sense. Meet them where they are.
Second, integration capabilities. This is super important. Does it connect smoothly with the tools you already use? Your calendar, your CRM, maybe Google Workspace, Shopify, whatever your stack is. If it doesn't integrate well, it just creates more work.
Yeah, you definitely don't want it stuck in its own little bubble, causing problems.
No way. Third, customizability. Your business is unique, right? Your processes, your brand voice. The AI needs to be flexible enough to adapt to your way of doing things and sound like you.
Good point. You don't want some generic robot talking to your customers.
Definitely not. Fourth, real-time analytics. You need to see if it's actually working. How many leads did it qualify? How many calls did it handle? Is it delivering ROI? You need the data.
Right. Measure what matters.
And fifth, scalability. Think ahead. As your business grows, can the AI handle more volume without needing a massive overhaul or becoming a bottleneck itself?
Those are all really solid practical points. And the guide actually mentioned a specific example, didn't it? Ava from SGiQ.
It did, yeah. It highlighted Ava as an example of what they called an agentic AI voice assistant.
Agentic.
What does that mean here? It basically means it's designed to be more proactive, more autonomous. It doesn't just wait for commands. It actively works towards goals like booking an appointment or qualifying a lead.
Okay, so more like a team member who takes initiative.
Exactly. The guide mentioned how Ava can answer calls 24/7, book appointments right into your calendar, qualify leads using voice or text, automate follow-ups, log everything in the CRM, integrates with Google Calendar, Slack, the usual suspects. And the guide even suggested for some businesses, it could potentially do the work of several team members, but at a much lower cost.
That's a pretty strong value proposition.
Yeah.
And the guide also shared some general results people are seeing, right, from entrepreneurs actually using these kinds of tools.
It did. It talked about significant time savings, people reclaiming 10, sometimes 20 hours a week, which is huge.
Wow. 10 to 20 hours?
Yeah. Also, faster lead response times, grabbing those opportunities before competitors do. Higher customer satisfaction because questions get answered quickly. Less burnout for the owner, which is massive.
Oh, definitely.
And just more consistent follow-up, without feeling like you're nagging people constantly.
And wasn't there a quote in there from an SGiQ client that summed it up nicely?
Yes, absolutely. It was something like, I stopped answering every phone call and email myself. Now Ava does it all, and I'm finally able to focus on scaling, not surviving.
Scaling, not surviving. That really hits home, doesn't it? It captures that shift we were talking about.
It really does. It's the core value proposition right there.
So it feels like the big takeaway from the guide and from our chat is that this AI automation stuff, it's not about working more or harder. It's about working smarter by offloading the repetitive grind.
Strategically.
And these tools seem genuinely built for entrepreneurs, for the specific struggles they face. We're talking, based on the guide, potential for saving serious time every week, faster lead responses, happier customers, less personal burnout, and that crucial consistent follow-up.
That quote really sticks, though, moving from just treading water, surviving, to actually having the space to focus on growth, on scaling.
Yeah, that's a fundamental shift.
What's really interesting is the potential change in mindset it enables.
Right.
Moving away from constantly being reactive, putting out fires,
Right.
towards being more proactive, thinking about strategy, the long game, the vision.
So maybe for everyone listening, take a second. Think about those tasks. What eats up your time week after week, the stuff you kind of dread doing. And just imagine getting those hours back. What could you do with them? How could you reinvest that time into the parts of your business that actually excite you, the parts that drive real growth?
It's a powerful thought.
Maybe it's worth exploring. How could an AI assistant fit into your specific workflow and help you make that leap from just managing tasks to really being that visionary leader?